What's up, guys? It's me, Tim, back with another first impression video. Although this isn't so much a first impressions because I've had this for a hot minute, but I wanted to share some initial thoughts about the Konica Hexar RF camera. And I have a lot of different thoughts about this camera. Listen, first, I want to let you know is that I know I've said this a lot and I feel like it's important, but I do actually love this camera and do shoot with this somewhat regularly. At least once a week I try to take this camera out and just go out and shoot something with it. Photograph something. Shoot sounds a little weird, but photograph something with it. Now there are a lot of things that I can speak highly of about this camera, and I know a lot of people have a lot of lusty feelings towards M-mount cameras, particularly the Leica ones, and this is kind of one of those frames, one of those cameras, that one of those events that is not like the other. Now I need to kind of give a little bit of an explanatory comma in my praise for this camera. And although I feel as if it needs to be talked about, it should not be a reason for you to not buy it. But I will explain that later. I'm going to tell you a little history about my issues with my Leica M6, which actually, let's take a little pause in the story. I actually dropped my M6 while I was at Disney in the water at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. My son bumped into me, so that's actually out getting a CLE by Yi because it had some water damage. But I have this love-hate relationship with the M6, and I feel like this is like one of those things that people never really talk about. When it comes to the M6, it's always glowing praise, and it is a wonderful camera, and there is a lot of things to love about the Leica M6. But one of the issues that I have is when I first got it, I absolutely loved it. I shot it all the time. It was always in my camera bag. It was always on me. It was always one of those things that I loved about it. I loved that it only had a shutter speed of 1/1000th of a second. That was great. I found it to not really be a limitation coming from like a DSLR that has like 8,000 shutter speeds and stuff like that. But the biggest issue that I had with the Leica M6, and something that I never really mastered, and something that was like extremely frustrating to me, was actually loading the film in it. I'm certain it was probably my fault, but I must have at least messed up 20 rolls of film trying to get the Leica M6 rolled. And my last draw was I thought I had rolled a roll of film in my Leica M6, and I went out and I had like just, oh my gosh, amazing lights. I was out shooting and I got all the way to like frame number 37. I was so excited about the images that I had just created. It took me about an hour to go through that entire roll of film, and the light has kind of shifted. I kind of got up at sunrise and the light has shifted, and I realized that when I hit frame 37, it advanced to frame 38. And then I was like, oh, that's weird. So I clicked that frame, and then it advanced to frame 39, only to find out that I had not actually rolled the film correctly. Like, it had not taken in the spool. So when I took the bottom plate off, my film just dropped right out. It had never actually took inside the camera. I know this is probably my own fault. I know there's a lot of people out there that you have the Leica M6 that, you know, have absolutely no problem putting a roll of film in that. But I just, like 20 rolls of film, I just gotten so frustrated with losing images that I thought that I was going to love and that were never actually taken. But you know what? They created some great memories. So this is what kind of started my pursuit to kind of go out and find another M-mount camera that was a little easier to load. And initially I was looking at the Zeiss Icon. That's because my friend Kat Brahman, I don't know if she watches my channel or not, she had one like way back, like 7 or 8, 9 years ago, and she shot it and loved it, and I just loved the way that worked. And I actually came across the Konica by accident. you know, it wasn't, I was looking for the Zeiss Icon and I came across the Konica Hexar and I ended up buying this body. It's like probably in fair condition for around $400 or $500 on eBay. And you know what? It actually has been a gigantic blessing. I've actually shot this way more than I have my Leica M6 because of the ease of use of loading the film. All you have to do is take this little tab, pop it open, and it loads just like any sort of SLR camera from back in the day, and it takes all of Leica's M-mount lenses. The viewfinder in it was gigantic, as well as the patch that's inside of it is one of the things that I really loved. I love that it also had an exposure compensation and where you could set your ISO up on the top of the camera here. And as you can also see, it goes to 0.004 of a second, which gives you even more flexibility when you're shooting out in the bright sun or when you're trying to shoot in different types of situations without having to push or pull your film. It has a single speed, a continuous speed, and a timer speed. There's like literally nothing not to love about this camera. But this is just kind of like an initial first impressions. I can tell you this is I have probably photographed I don't know, 40 or 50 rolls of film through this. So I've had it for a while. I've shot it a lot, and this isn't necessarily going to be a full review. I'm going to kind of really dig into the details of this camera later at a later time, because I really want to kind of give like a full in-depth review and tell you why this particular camera is probably the M-mount camera that you should get. One, for starters, it is a little bit more expensive than when I bought mine. They do run for only about $1,200 to $1,300. But with most film cameras that have some automatic settings, because this camera will rewind the film back into it. It does have a light meter inside of it. Some of these mechanical cameras, they're kind of like what a lot of people like to call like a walking time bomb, right? Like, so you know that at some point in time, this camera's going to break, and you know that it's not going to be able to get it fixed. Maybe you can find someone who might have parts for it, but it's rare. But I will tell you this, is that should not stop you from buying this camera. All cameras are going to break. Every camera you own at some point in time is going to break, but you should not let that not be a reason for why you don't go out and buy one. And I will tell you, the biggest thing that I would probably share with you guys are these types of cameras that are in excellent condition. I personally feel that the cameras that are shot with generally are going to have less issues with, because they've been used. I don't want my cameras to be museum pieces to sit on the shelf. I want my cameras to be able to go out and use. I don't baby my equipment. I put it in my bag and make sure I take care of it, and I make sure that it's the right tool for when I need to use it. Now, it does take batteries, which kind of powers the auto rewind and the light meter. It's a really simple camera. I mean, but let's be honest, guys, like every camera that you ever use only really has three functions: ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, right? All the other details are just details. But I want to tell you this is just my first impressions. I'm going to do a further review on this later. I want to kind of just share with you that no piece of camera equipment is going to make you a better photographer. There's no film stock, there's no M-mount camera, no M-mount lens. It doesn't matter if it's a Voigtlander, Zeiss, or Leica lens. It's going to make you a better photographer. What's going to make you a better photographer is actually taking the equipment and going out and photographing with it. I'm a very firm believer in telling everyone that, and any first impressions, any long-term review is, if you want to become a better photographer, it's cool to look at these reviews or these first impressions online, or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this or reading this content. But I just want to encourage you just to go out and create, take it and photograph with it, figure out what the limitations are, figure out where it excels at. There are all sorts of issues and things with camera equipment these days that you can read and watch until you're blue in the face, but none of it matters if you don't take it out and actually photograph with it. But that's just kind of my initial first impressions of the Konica Hexar RF, not the AF, the RF, which is the rangefinder one. It's not the automatic one that you can get with the AF. But yeah, guys, I hope you kind of enjoy this. I'm gonna show you some images that I've shot with this, and when I get ready to do a deep review, I promise you it will be the deepest review that you will have ever seen on YouTube. I hope to not make it 30 or 40 minutes, but it is going to be a deep review. That's how much I love this camera, and that's how much I think that this should be the next camera in your bag if you're looking for an M mount rangefinder type camera. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you smash that subscribe button. And if you like this, man, you can also buy me a cup of coffee. I'll drop my Venmo link down there, and that just kind of helps me keeps me caffeinated to create more reviews like this for you guys. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.